If you're like me, you've probably received a number of emails or read a number of articles using wording like, in these uncertain times, in these crazy times, in these challenging times. And I'll admit, I've used that language as well when communicating with you, just to show that I understand that we're all in this together and that we're all experiencing the effects of the global pandemic and what that means to our human experience, our lives. But I think the important thing to remember is that we're all noticing that life is very uncertain right now. We have uncertainty in a number of areas. Our jobs, our health, the health of our loved ones, really big picture things like mortality that we don't think of generally on the day-to-day are highlighted. Our relationships are highlighted as well because we may be all together in close quarters at home, or we may be more isolated than ever as we're all experiencing some degree of lockdown. What struck me was that life is always uncertain. It's simply that the pandemic has highlighted that uncertainty and made it really apparent to all of us. It reminds me of the old saying, what's the difference between a depression and a recession? A recession is when your neighbor loses their job, and a depression is when you lose yours. I'm not looking to joke about or make light of what we're experiencing, but that saying really brings home the fact that we often will look at world events and feel sympathy, empathy, but it's quite distant. This is one of the only events, certainly that I can remember in my lifetime, that we've all experienced the same type of change on a global scale. So I think there are a couple of key things to keep in mind in terms of this uncertainty, is that billions of people are experiencing this at the same time, and we're also experiencing multiple changes at the same time. So that can have a cascading effect. Think about when you've had challenges in your life. If there's one challenge, you can likely handle it. Two challenges at the same time, it becomes more difficult. It becomes exponentially harder the more challenges that we have to face at the same time. So right now we're being offered up a huge amount of change. And again, depending on your personal circumstance, you may be hit with multiple things at the same time. But there are two things really that you can do right now to feel better about the experience that you're having. And the first thing that you can do is accept the current situation. So acceptance is a hard word for a lot of people because it sounds like giving up, but it's really the opposite of giving up. The root of the word acceptance from around the 1500s was basically to receive or give what is offered. So you'll notice that there's really no feeling associated with that. It's a very transactional type of thing, and it's an acceptance of this is the experience that we're all having right now. And resisting that experience to any great degree is just going to wear us out. We're going to feel worried. We're going to feel tired. We're going to feel irritable. We're going to feel stressed by resisting it. So it's a matter of accepting it, that this is the reality right now. It's not going to last forever because nothing ever does. And it is very uncertain, But life is always uncertain, and this is simply magnifying it and allowing us to have a look at how we deal with uncertainty. And this can be a valuable lesson in many ways, and it's worth examining. The second thing you can do is to stay in the present moment as much as you can. There are lots of projections and fears and anxiety about what's going to happen in the future. We're feeling very uncertain right now, and we really don't know what's going to happen in the future in terms of health, what's going to happen to us, what's going to happen to our loved ones, what's going to happen to the economy, what will happen to our jobs, how will our life look 6 months from now. Again, it's worth remembering that we never know what our life is going to look like 6 months from now. This is simply amplifying everything on a global scale. So if you can stay present and focus on what you can change at the moment, you can work on a new skill. You can look at your attitude and whether you're judging the situation very harshly and soften and relax into that a little bit. You can examine your relationships and see what you can do to improve them as we're all home together, or strengthening relationships with people virtually as we are practicing physical distancing. For me personally, I find that mindfulness practices really help me to stay grounded, to be less judgmental about any situation that I'm in, and to feel less stressed and more relaxed. My tip for today, and for really the rest of your life, would be to look at mindfulness practices and incorporating even just 5 minutes a day into your regular routine can really start to help calm the nervous system, open the mind, and open the heart. I hope this helps. If you'd like some tips and help and guidance on navigating these changes, which again are changes that we all experience, they're simply heightened at this time, send me a message. Let me know how you're doing. Leave a comment. Check out my website, changewithoutpain.ca, for additional tips, help, support, and guidance. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Stay safe and stay well.